Hello everybody, I raised the brightness on my phone so I can actually see the screen now in the sunlight. Well, today I'm taking a walk a little bit earlier, and I know I'm kind of like doing this every time I want to record a video. It's just I don't want to be upstairs in my room without a camera, kind of just talking to myself, and you guys just see a black screen. There's someone driving down the road. Okay, they have driven past. I'm gonna keep the phone down. Yeah, I don't want to dox that person. That'd be mean. That'd be rude. It's pretty early, so they could either be coming home from work or they could be heading to their job. I'm not going to explain why you'd have a job down a road that on Google Maps you cannot even go down. But, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to talk about my eye infection real quick, because I've noticed that every time I go outside, it gets fucking worse. So, this is not a good idea. And I'm risking my right eye every fucking day I decide to do this. But it's 19 degrees outside. And yes, that is Celsius. That's not Fahrenheit. I use Celsius. Yes, I live in the United States of America, and I use Celsius. Yes, we exist. Anyways. Yeah, I wanted to talk a bit about, as a human being, about misgendering. I know that's great, you know? I am technically a gender fluid bisexual femboy. I think I stated that in my political video, where I probably titled it something like "A Femboy Talks About Politics," whatever. I don't remember. But I just want to say how easy it is to not notice or not care when people misgender you, because I have been. Actually, many, many times, even before I was gender fluid, and I just either didn't notice or I was like, I don't care. You know, I don't hate being called any gender. Like, here's a story. It's pretty recent. Earlier in May of this year, I want to say it was May, me and my parents went to Colorado. Well, we'd stopped in Wyoming. I don't remember if that was on our trip back or to Colorado, but we stopped in Wyoming for something known as food. And the waitress, I want to say it's a waitress, I'm not entirely sure, but she/they called me a they. Now, I don't care, because I didn't even notice. My parents noticed. I didn't. Like, it's just that easy. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever, I'll still order my food and eat. I don't care. Like, I find it would be hypocritical of me, very, to, be like, oh my god, what the fuck, you know? I think it'd be very stupid to just get angry and be like, oh my god, how dare you call me a they? I'm actually a he, him, you know? Like, I was like, when my parents noticed it, I just said, I don't care. I didn't even notice. Like, you know, like, I get it. I have long hair, and it's not easy. It's not easy for people to, you know, understand when I'm, like, covering my face. I don't usually, like, you know, I don't usually look at waiters or waitresses when I order my food. I look at the menu, you know, so I get it. I get it's not easy to understand which gender I am right off the bat. I get it. Trust me. You know? But I don't particularly care. There's another car coming down the road. So when they get closer, I'm gonna pause the video and wave at them, because I'm just taking a walk, taking a leisurely stroll. Alright, give me 1 second. Alright, they have passed. I don't know if you can actually hear that they've passed, but they have. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, it doesn't bother me when people misgender. It doesn't bother me when people are like, oh, whatever, you know. I don't care. Right? That's me. I'm generally unbothered when it comes to genders, when it comes to pronouns, when it comes to ma'am, sirs, whatever. It doesn't bother me. You know, even back when I was in 8th grade for choir, someone asked me out on a date, because from the back, which is where they were looking at me, I looked like a girl. And I had never shown my face to that person. They'd never seen what I looked like. And they were like, hey, I think you're pretty. Do you want to go on a date? And I'm like, I'm a guy. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, I don't mind. Because even in 8th grade, I was a bisexual. I kind of figured that shit out already by 8th grade. And I was like, I don't mind. I'm still down. You know, I don't care. And they were like, no, it's fine. And I was like, okay, cool. Doesn't bother me any, you know? Like, also, no, I didn't get bullied for liking dudes and women in 8th grade. That just didn't happen. There's one time in which it technically happened where I was called the F slur, which I'm not going to say because YouTube's already taking shit away from me. But the F slur, in which I was called in 8th grade, and, you know, I was like, hey, I talked to my counselor about it, and that kid was like, oh, I didn't know it was a homophobic word. I thought it was just, you know, I didn't know. And I'm like, I don't care, you know. I'll accept your apology because it's a low-level insult. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it's like, me and him weren't friends afterwards, but he was more friendly towards me, being like, hey, you know. And I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna, you know, rage bait and be like, oh my god, it was so offensive. Like, I'm not gonna be mean to him either. Like, you know, I'll say it how it was. He was a short kid, you know. He's a little shorter than I am. I say a little shorter than I am. I'm 5'8", and I was 5'8" in 8th grade as well. I stopped growing height-wise in 8th grade. But he was like, I want to say, like 5-6 inches shorter than me. He was about as tall as my mom is, if not shorter, right? And my mom's like 5 foot. So, you know, I don't want to be mean to him. I don't want to be that guy. But yeah, you know, I could have made fun of him for being a short kid. And I could have been like, oh, well, you're short. Haha, you know. But to me, that felt like punching down. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to make fun of him. I'm just going to say, it's all right, man. You know, I get it. It is what it is. Even though, like, I told my counselor, which, I mean, I didn't like my counselor. That was, like, the one time he actually helped me in my entire time at the middle school, actually. Like, yeah. But I never once said, time to turn around. I never once said to that kid anything rude. I never said, hey, fuck you, you shouldn't have done that, you know. Because I don't care about that sort of stuff. I don't care about slurs. If you use them, they're low-level insults, at best. You know? Like, I don't I don't see slurs as, like, a be-all, end-all of fucking words. You know? I don't consider slurs to really even be that bad. To all the people that are like, but they are that bad. You don't understand. I do. I've been called the F slur, which applies to me in 3 different fucking ways, and I still don't care. You know? Being called the F slur to me is like a triple entendre because I'm bisexual, gender fluid, and I'm a femboy. You're calling me the F slur for 3 different fucking reasons, and I still could not give a single fuck. You know? Like, yeah, I don't think you should be insulting anyone. That's my opinion. But at the same time, if I'm insulted, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, how dare you call me the F slur? I could never be your friend. Or, you're homophobic. I never called him that. I never said he was homophobic. He didn't know it was a homophobic slur. You know? He didn't fucking know shit. So I'm not going to be like, oh my god, you should apologize. I mean, he did apologize, but I wasn't asking for one. I was asking for my fucking counselor to do something about it. You know, because I was like, hey, I want to stop it before it gets any further than just calling me the F slur. You know? Like, it wasn't that huge. It wasn't that big of a deal. Like, yeah, it could have gone further, but because I went to my counselor and I did something about it, nothing happened further than that. And that's something that people, part of the number club, you kind of need to understand, is if you don't do anything about it, if you don't take your life into your hands, nothing is going to change. If you get called a slur and you're outraged and you yell at people for calling you the slur or being like, that's homophobic, you're homophobic, they're not going to like you. And then they're going to resent people exactly like you. It's the same way with being misgendered. If you're outraged by being called sir or ma'am, and you happen to be the opposite, people are not going to be fond of you. People aren't going to like you. If anything, people will feel the opposite. They're going to feel like, oh, fuck you, because the last person that was like you was mean to me. Just because I called them the wrong gender. You know? Say, here's how you should do it. Hey, I don't go by that. I go by this. You know? Please refer to me the way I would like to be referred to. And then don't say anything more. And if you still get misgendered, ignore it. Because by that point, they're not going to listen to you. They do not care. And you shouldn't expect them to care. Just say, okay, I've tried. I've done my due diligence. It's time to move on. Whether you're at a restaurant, you're at an arcade, you're at a fucking bounce park, I forget the name off the top of my head, bouncy castles, or trampoline park. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking of. Trampoline parks. Doesn't matter where the fuck you are. If you get misgendered, suck it the fuck up. You know, I don't, like, again, I've been misgendered multiple times. I don't care. Okay? I've been called the F slur once in my entire life. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me think of myself any less. It doesn't make me think of my gender identity any less, because I'm not gender fluid because I feel like I am one gender over the other, or I feel like I'm all of the genders all of the time. It's simply because I don't give a shit. I don't care about genders. Like, yeah, technically my preferred gender is he, him. I don't care. If you call me a she, that's fine. Call me a they, that's fine. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. Like, yeah, I wear women's clothing. Cool. That doesn't make me any cooler than someone with, like, I don't know, a sombrero and they're wearing, like, a scarf. Like, doesn't make me any different. Just because I'm wearing women's clothing, it doesn't make me different from someone that decides they want to wear random ass bullshit, you know? Doesn't make me any different from the guy down the street that wears eyeliner. You know? So, I just want to clarify that if you're trans, I respect you, but I only respect you as much as you respect me. That's how I work. Yes, I will call you by your preferred pronouns. However, if you disrespect me, I will disrespect you. I do not care if you're trans. I do not care if you are a femboy like me. I don't care if you're cisgender completely. If you disrespect me, prepare for disrespect back. Respect is earned, not given. And there is no scenario in which you are given respect. You must earn it. And I will treat you as any other human being. Okay. I'm obviously getting tired because I'm walking back up to the house. But also because my sides are starting to hurt from walking. I know, I'm trying to get into shape. Fuck you. Ugh. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video here. If you know anyone that is easily offended by slurs or misgendering, this is a good video for them. Because maybe it'll teach them that people don't actually give a shit. People are not out to get you just because you're a part of the fucking numbers gang or the letters gang, okay? I don't care, and you shouldn't either. And if I see anyone getting offended, being like, oh my god, but slurs are important, I will call you a slur. Shut the fuck up. Slurs are not that important. And English language is the only language in which slurs are a concept. Other languages just consider them insults or harsher insults than normal. So fuck you. Alright, that's it. Goodbye. Have fun.